Hey guys, welcome to the ranch. Today I'm in the shop here and it's kind of a bittersweet project that I'm getting ready to start. I am being tasked by the family to build an urn for my father-in-law. He recently passed away and I have the honor to build a box that will hold his remains for, I guess, eternity. And I will I have to say this is a first for me. I've been doing woodworking projects just on a small scale, hobbyist, DIY type situation for years and years, but never have I been asked to create something so important. Kind of did a little research to figure out how big this needs to be, and I'm kind of all over the place on that, but knowing where the box is going to sit in his house, I will. I came up with some plans here. I don't know if you can see that. Just rough sketch, some dimensions. It's going to be somewhere between 8 and 9 inches. Camera's losing me here. 8 and 9 inches by 10 to 12 inches, rectangle shaped box with 3 or 4 inch tall sides. I'm gonna create this is over here. I'm gonna create a beveled top with some carvings in it with his initials and dates. And then I'm gonna put the box together here with dovetails. So dovetail joinery. I'm not sure about the base. I think I'm going to put a solid base with a kind of the same bevel that's on the lid here, on the legs, and I'm going to secure the base onto the box with screws. This is not a box that you can open and close easily. It's going to be accessible by unscrewing the bottom. That's the only way you're going to be able to open and close the box is with taking out screws. Really no reason to be opening and closing it, but it's going to be more decorative and just a final resting place. So that's my plan that I've come up with. I don't know if it'll work out that way, but let's go over here and pick out some wood. Here's my lumber selection, and oh boy, just have a lot of boards here to choose from, but not sure what I'm going to use yet. My first thought was using some of this pecan wood. Pecan, how do you say it? I cut this tree down here in the front yard a few years ago, and I used an Alaskan mill to slice the board into, or slice the log into boards. So it's been drying for 2 or 3 years. Very cool figure, very unique wood, pecan. I've never worked with pecan. So I was kind of thinking that. I've only got these 2 boards, and that one's got a big wormhole in it, or rot. So I'm not sure if I will be able to get enough wood, clear wood, out of this board to create the whole box. So what I might do is create the lid out of this and create the box out of some mahogany or cherry. I believe cherry would be a good choice. Also have maple. This is hard maple, I believe. It's not, I don't think I'm gonna use maple. It's too white. I got red oak. I don't really think red oak is a good choice. So maybe this is cherry right here. This is a sample of what cherry would look like. This is some, I believe this is either walnut. Yeah, I believe this is walnut right here. Now that would be a cool board. It's got got some sapwood on the back, which I'd have to cut out, but I don't need that thickness. This is 8/4 walnut. Maybe I use this for the lid. That would be a nice lid. Choices, choices. So, any ideas? I've also got some cedar or juniper, that big log up here. I got lots of juniper here on this property, and I've sliced some of that up. I don't really like working with that. It's a soft wood, so I don't think it's a good option for this box that I want to last for a long, long time. So I use the pecan and the walnut. It's kind of a contrast. The lid will be a darker color than the box. I believe I have enough pecan here to create the box, but not the box with the lid. So let me do some calculations and see what I come up with. All right, I did some calculations, and I really don't have enough pecan to create everything. So I pulled down the cherry options here. What I'm thinking is I'll create a continuous grain box out of one of these cherry boards. Really don't need, these are 10, almost 8, probably out of this board. This one has some nice figure. That one has a bad knot. So I think I'm going to pick this board right here for the box. So what I'm thinking is the box is going to be continuous grain, all 4 sides dovetailed together. And one reason I like the cherry for this box is dovetailed cherry, the end grain really pops, so you don't have to have contrasting wood. The end grain on cherry will pop, and you'll definitely be able to see the dovetails. So that, I think, is a good option for the box sides, all 4 sides. And then I'm going to use this for the top and the bottom. So this top will be inlaid into the cherry box, and then the bottom will be also out of walnut. So I think that's the plan. Let's get to work. So I'm going to take this board, use it for the top and the bottom of the box. And to do that, I'm going to have to split it. So this is about 1 3/4. This is already surfaced on 2 sides, 3 sides. So I should be able to split that and get 2 3/4 inch boards out of it. One of them I'm going to bevel for the top, and one's going to be beveled for the bottom. Make it like this sheet of paper size. That's a good proportion for a box. So we'll go 8.5 by 11. So that'll get me enough clear wood, cut out the sapwood and the damaged area. And 11, I can get most of this figure. So 11. All right, I think that's the plan there. So we're gonna go 8.5 by 11 on the dimensions. The best 3.5 inch continuous green. And I'm gonna need 22, 39 inches at least continuous green. So there's 39. So I can take, see, when you on the box sides, you probably want to avoid this cathedral grain. I'm going to try to get this straight grain right here. This section right here looks like would be the best. I want to avoid the cathedral, so 39, we'll cut it long. Cut it about 42 or so we can square up the ends. By about this is the board we're going to keep right here. Before I get too far ahead, I want to make sure my dovetails are going to look nice and fit on a 3.5 inch board. So I'm going to be using a 1/2 inch by 14 degree dovetail bit. So that limits me to a couple of different patterns. And as you can see, the differences here with my box size being 3.5 inches, I want to have a few dovetails rather than just 2 or 1. So I'm going to be using this template right here. And the half blind dovetails on 1/2 inch stock. It's going to look something like that. I'm going to have 4 dovetails on each side piece. All right. So let's get started, and I got to mill up the lumber here. Split this in half. I think first I'm going to work on the box side. I'm going to build the box completely. Then we'll build the top and the bottom. Okay, so let's get started building the box. This is the cherry board, and I picked out this green to have continuous green on the box. So I've cut it in half and half again, and I'm hoping to get all four sides of the box out of these two, but I'm going to go ahead and mill these and use these as identical size parts in case I mess something up, which is highly likely. When you're doing dovetails, a lot of times you know, they don't fit right, or something goes wrong, or I mess up. So I'm going to have some spares just in case. But we're going to try to get the box made out of these. So next I'm going to thin these down. These are a little over 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to get it down between 1/2 and 3/4 just to give the box a little lighter look. Alright, so let's run them through the thickness planer. What I'm doing now is marking my board here so I can make the cuts. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. So this is going to be the front, right side, back, left side. So I want to make the cuts where I can keep the grain somewhat continuous. So make a cut here. Board's cut, so next step is to put dovetails on all of these ends. So that's what we're going to do. Here's my setup to cut the dovetails. I've already cut a groove on the bottom here of these two boards. Got them really secured, clamped in here. Now I'm gonna use this dovetail bit and just cut out the pins, or I'm sorry, the tails. This is going to be the tails. Flip it over and do this other end. This is the side of the box. It's going to have the dovetails, and then the front of the box will have the pins. And this is how we do it. So you just do all your measurements, put your boards in, cut them a certain distance apart, and put them together. So let's get started. So there's one side. Now let's go cut the other end. There are the dovetails. Now we just got to go cut the pins on the other boards, and then we'll put it together. All right, let's cut the pins. put the box together, see if it'll go together. That's going to be the box dimensions of it. So I'm going to go clean these up a little bit where they'll fit a little better so it'll square up. It's square, but as you can see, the dovetails don't fit all the way into some of these. Mainly this board here, got to go a tiny bit deeper. And when cherry, when it ages, it'll get darker, and this end grain will be a totally different hue. So this will really stand out on the side of the box after it ages and gets some finish on it. Of course, we'll sand up these saw marks; they won't be visible. And we're going to build the top out of this board and the bottom. So we're going to split this in half, make a bevel on the top and put some carving in it, and then we'll create a base. So contrasting wood, walnut, cherry, and that's going to be the box. So I got to call it a night. So I ended up making a second box. The first one, the joints were pretty tight, so I made a few more adjustments. Now, after, I don't know, 30 or 40 dovetails, I think I got it, so take a look. This is the first box. The joints will go together, but they're very tight, so broke off a little bit of the dovetail there with some tear out, so this one is not going to work. I can make a box out of it, but it's not going to be up to my standards, so I'm going to do something else with that box. So this one should be almost perfect. I made one slight mistake and I cut the pins here on the wrong side. This is the inside. I marked all these. This is the outside. I wanted to cut the pins on this side because the knot, I wanted this on the inside of the box, but they're both about the same. So hopefully everything will line up. Just trying to clean up the little bit of tear out here. And see if we can get this together. So tails outside, I marked the top of all these. Top, outside, top, inside, top, outside. Okay. So should be able to gently, just gently, I say. Okay. That is a pretty nice fit. Square, square. So there's the box. Now, the plan is to take this apart and cut a groove on the inside of the lid. So this is the top. The big walnut board over there, I'm going to shape and form a lid, but it's going to be inset. So the plan is to cut a groove about a 1/4 inch down all the way around the top inside. Then I'm going to cut a rabbet on that board to fit into that groove and inlay the lid into the box. There's not going to be any openings, it's just going to be the lid inlaid into the groove in this box. Okay, and then the bottom will be a flat board that's screwed. Okay, so that's the box. Big slab of walnut right here. This is the inlay that I'm going to put in the box. I'm going to slice it on the bandsaw down to about 3/4 of an inch. Then I'm going to bevel the top, put the rabbet all the way around to fit into that box, and finish this real nice. This will be sanded and carved with the initials and the date. Okay, and then the bottom half of this slab is going to be the bottom of that box, or the legs, the base. That's it for the day. I will be back tomorrow to try to finish this thing up. It's going to be a long day. A lot of measuring, cutting, but I think I can get it done tomorrow. So stick around. Guys, welcome back. It's the next day. It's been a couple of days actually, and I'm going to start working on the box again. So some updates since the last recording session. Had to put down one of our bird dogs, so I've got a lump in my throat right now. We had to say goodbye to old Zeke, and he was a rescue. Had a lot of health issues when we got him, but still hard when you have to make that decision for one of your, man's best friend, companions. So I guess as luck would have it, I've got an extra box here that I've been practicing on, so when we get his ashes back, I'll be able to use this extra box. So let me show you what we got. Okay, this is the test box where the joints were really tight. I'm probably gonna go ahead and use this for Zeke, and this is the other box. It's gonna be my father-in-law's urn. And I got the joints really nice, perfect almost. I measured it. It's almost exactly what I planned, 8.5 by 11. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this 2x4. Well, first, before I take the 2x4, let me show you this. I'm going to resaw this to about 7/8. So make two boards 7/8 inch thick. And it's plenty long and wide enough. But what I'm going to do now is try to pick out the grain that I want to be for on the lid. So at first I thought I was going to use this really nice this knot here, but that's some gnarly grain, and I'm going to be carving some initials and dates in here. So I don't know if I want to use this side or this side. Now this has some sapwood on it. You normally don't want to use sapwood on your finished pieces. I don't know how thick that's going to be. Looks like it goes just on the corner here. So probably want to avoid, but I think I can avoid this sapwood, most of this sapwood, and that would be the grain, something like that on the lid. I want to try to center this figure. You don't want to make the lid half of a piece of figure here. So I was debating on that or this really tight gnarly grain here. So I think this one's a little more suitable for a lid. So we'll go with this side. Something just like that right there. So what I'm going to do before I cut this down and fit it in this box, I'm going to take this 2x4 and I'm going to create a pattern, I guess you could say, or I'm going to use this as a test piece for this box. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this down and glue it up so I can make a lid for this box as a test to make sure I got all my cuts right. So let me show you how I do that. Let's get this milled down, flattened, glue cleaned up, and then I'm gonna do a test board bevel cut on this piece of pine to get my settings right for the real box before I use the expensive walnut. So let's do that. Welcome back. This is a multiple day project and I've finally got the first box complete. I just got to put it together. So let me show you what I've done and we'll put this together and talk through this process. Trial box. This is the sides, top and bottom. So As you know, I put the dovetails on, they were a little too tight, made some mistakes on this one, so I turned this into the trial run. So what I've got now is I turned a couple of 2x4s into some pine panels, and this is going to be the top and this is going to be the bottom. Now, since this is an urn, this is going to be for my dog Zeke. No reason to open and close this thing, so the bottom's just going to be screwed on once we put the ashes in. But let me show you how it fits together. Fairly tight fit. I beveled the top of this box so it's a little decorative. This is going to be the lid, the top of the box. See, I beveled the edge, left a little reveal here. So we're going to engrave or put some lettering here, name and date. And then the bottom of the box is going to be screwed on. It's got like a 12-degree bevel on the base, and that's the screw holes. So I'm going to glue this all together, put the ashes in it, and screw it on like that. I am going to stain this wood. This pine is way too white, so I'm going to stain this darker color, a walnut color, because it was originally designed to have a walnut lid and base, like that color over there. If you can see, that's a walnut board over there at the very top of the screen. So I'm going to stain this pine with a walnut stain. Hey guys, welcome back. This is a marathon video, and I'm putting together the first box, the temporary box. So, or not the temporary box, but the first box that I tested my techniques on, and hopefully I can get this together and use it as an urn for my old dog. And what I've learned on this test box, I'm going to go ahead and apply to the other box, and we'll try to get that almost completed today. I got 2 more days to get this done, so let me show you what I've done. I've got the sides. I did stain the pine, so this is a dark walnut stain. So I'm going to glue up the box, put the top in, then we'll finish the inside and outside with some clear satin, I think it is, or some kind of protective coating, and then we're going to put the bottom on after we get the ashes in. So right now I'm going to do the glue up. While that box is drying, I'm going to go work on the second box. So I'm going to do a little bit different technique on that one. Instead of just running it through the table saw to cut the dado in the box to fit the lid, I'm going to use the router table and a straight bit. So let's do that. Next we're going to go cut some dados on these walls here on this box, but I want to do some measurements. So the dados, I've got a 1/4 inch straight bit in my router to cut the dados. So it's going to be a 1/4 inch tongue that goes into the dado. and this is 0.76. So I got a total of almost, well, that's 0.5, 0.6. So 3/4 of an inch to work with. So if I've got a 1/4 inch tongue, it leaves me a 1/2 inch sticking up. So I have to go, I have to cut the dado in this, behind this blind dovetail right here. So that is, the center of that is roughly 1/2 inch. So just leaves me a few thou above the box. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that dado right in the center of this blind dovetail, which is, there's a 1/4. That's how wide it's going to be. Yeah, I think I'm going to cut it right at the top of that blind dado, or that blind dovetail. Cut the dado at the top of the blind dovetail all the way around. Okay, that will leave me 1/2 inch, about 1/4 of an inch of thickness above the lid here. So it'll give me a little bit of room to work, make the edges soft, have a little reveal. So that's the plan. Let's try that, see how it works. Need to lower that down to, I need just to make it 1/8 inch dado. Okay, here we are. I've got the 1/4 inch bit dialed in at 1/8 inch tall. And I think I got the fence off the bit 5/16. Let's take a look and see. Yeah, that's not where I need it. I need it to be about right there. All right, let's try that right there. So we're going to run the dado on these boards right here along the top inside. So top inside, inside top, top inside, just like that. Okay, I got it. That's exactly where I want it. So, fits in there nice and tight. And that's going to be the reveal. So it'll be like a pillow top lid on this box. I'm going to, of course, chamfer this edge a little bit. That looks pretty good. So now I just got to get it to dimensions. Leave that alone. All right, let's go measure the box. So I got the dimensions here of the lid. This is the internal dimensions of the box, plus the 1/4 inch or 1/8 inch tongue on each end, total of a 1/4 inch. So it's 9 31/32 by 7.5. That's what I need in order to get this lid to fit. I need to cut it down to basically 10 by 7.5. And right now I've got 8.5 by 11. So here's what we got. So the board is not cut to length yet, but it's cut to the proper width. This is going to be inside the box, the top of the lid inside the box. I guess it's the bottom of the lid. It's going to go into that dado, and it's going to rise above the box lid, the box top. So the dados are 1/8 inch, so I'm going to cut these tongues 1/4 inch deep or long, and that'll leave me a reveal around the edges. So that's what we're doing now. I'm going to cut both sides, cut the tongue on both sides. Okay. Let me go cut the tongue on this end. Okay, I just realized that this is basically a floating lid here. So to get this completely centered inside the frame, I'm going to have to cut some shims, some spacers, exactly probably 1/8 inch right there all the way around, or just to keep it centered when I put it together. There is enough space in those grooves to allow for expansion, contraction, but I still need to center this floating lid. I really don't understand where I went wrong in my math, because the only thing I can think are the dados were a little bit deeper than they should be. I mean, a fraction of it. Come back tomorrow, we're gonna cut some spacers, put this in the center. I might go ahead and chamfer the edges down. I'm not sure if I want to bevel them with the table saw, hand plane, router. I think I might just leave it like that and just soften those sharp edges. It don't look bad. And then for the base, this is I think it's a 20-degree bevel on those, on this, on these two corners. So it's going to be something like that for the base. How's that look? Let's get you in there and see. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today. Be back in the morning and we'll continue this video. Welcome back. I got 1 day left to get this box build, and this has been a long project. Hopefully I can wrap up both boxes today, so let me show you what I got. Trial box, test box is nearing completion here. So I got the box done, glued. It's now glued. The lid is glued in place. Stained. This has not been stained. The cherry has just been sanded. It's not finished yet, so now I got to sand off the glue, squeeze out, do a final prep on the outside. But the stained 2x4 construction pine has been glued in place here, and that will be the lid. And this other side of that board, glued up construction pine, stained, will be used as the bottom of the box or the base. So now I just got to screw that in place. I'm going to go ahead and drill the holes in the cherry before I sand everything and prep it, but we will not close the box up until we get the ashes. And then the final step will be engrave the name and dates on the top. I'm going to do that with the CNC. So that's that box. Almost done with it. I'll show you a final after it's complete. Now on to the next box. When I left yesterday, I had realized I need to put some spacers in to center this lid. Well, it dawned on me that framing panel, raised panel doors, like you find in a lot of kitchen cabinets, have these same construction characteristics. The dado with the tongue, and it's made to be free floating in the panel, but what they have done in the past, and I've done this before, is put in some little rubber balls to prevent it from rattling. This is a pretty tight fit, so it's not really going to rattle, but I don't want it to slide out of place over time. So I thought, well, I don't have any of those rubber balls. They're commercially available rubber balls that are made just for this, but this is about an 1/8 inch, a little smaller than an 1/8 inch diameter, this rubber O-ring that I found. So I'm going to cut it up into pieces and put it inside the dado on all 4 sides. That will basically float the raised panel lid in the center of the opening, and it'll allow for any seasonal wood movement that may occur and not split the box apart, which that's very unlikely with dovetails and this as much space that I got in here, but it will keep the lid centered. So that's my plan. Take it all apart, cut this O-ring up. I'll probably put 2 pieces of this O-ring in each of the 4 sides to keep it centered. Then I'm going to bevel this hard edge on the top. I'm going to slope it up so there's more of an angled reveal that kind of matches the base, which is a 20-degree angle here. So I still got to bevel this, install the rubber spacers, final assemble it and glue it, and then I will create the base. So that's what we're going to do right now. over here at the router table. What I want to do is put a bevel on this hard edge for the lid. And to do that, I'm going to use this 45-degree bevel router bit. I've got it pretty much as low as I can go and take a little sliver off of this corner, and that way I can ease up on the cut and get to where I like it. Alright, that is pretty close to what I'm thinking. I might want to go a little more aggressive on that, but that is a nice beveled edge all the way around the top. Let's go put it in the box and see what it looks like. I tacked in these little rubber grommets into the Dados. Hopefully that'll help with the assembly, but the most stressful part of any project is gluing it up. For me, you want to make sure everything gets squared and clamped. So this is the stressful part right here. So I'm going to go ahead and attempt to glue this thing together. Back, we're going to take the box apart. It's been in the clamps here for a couple hours. I almost finished the test box, so I'll show you both of them when we're done here. But let's take a look at the box. All right, there it is, glued up. Lid is perfectly centered. Looks really nice. Next step is making the base. So I'm going to go ahead and do some calculations here, measure this out, and see where I need to cut this base to get the 20-degree angles on all the sides. So I'll do that on the table saw, 20 degrees, and then we'll come back and finish this up. Now I've got the marks here where I got to create these 25-degree bevels on the two sides. So I've got my saw set to 25 degrees. It's a little tricky, but I'll get it done. Perfect fit. So I just made the base flush with the sides, 20-degree angle. So I just got to clean up the pencil marks and the saw marks on the sander, drill some pilot holes to screw it in, and we're going to finish everything with shellac. And almost done with this project. Hey guys, welcome back. It's another day of the marathon box build. I think I'm at the end here finally because today's my deadline. So let me show you what I got done so far. So this is the finished product, less the engraving. I haven't done the engraving yet because I did make one other mistake here. The box will not fit under my CNC, so I'm going to have to do the engraving by hand, route it by hand if I'm going to do engraving. So I've got it ready to go, and I think I'm going to try that today. But Dovetails turned out really nice. It's sanded, gaps filled, a couple coats of lacquer inside and out. And then the floating lid with the gap and the bevel turned out really nice, just like I envisioned it. Got the holes drilled in the base, so really the only thing left is to install the ashes. If I'm going to do the engraving, I'm going to do it right here, and that one will be done. The test box turned out okay as well. Same type of construction, just different wood. This is just 2x4 pine, construction pine. And screwed in. Got some cork feet. And I'll probably also do the engraving on this one as well. Dovetails. Dovetails. So there we go. I'm going to be doing this by hand. What I've got here is a 20-degree V-bit, which is a very sharp point router bit, just barely protruding. And I'm going to try to stay in the lines. That's basically how it works. I got this centered. I'm gonna put down the mask here. New stuff is called Aura Mask. It's a masking film. And my daughter cut this out on the Cricut machine. But I usually use this Aura mask on my CNC. I just put it down with nothing cut out and then carve through it, and then you can paint what you've carved. In this case, my daughter printed out or cut out the dates and the letters on the Cricut machine. Okay, so on top of the blue film is this clear film, which is transfer tape. Okay. All right.